Welcome back to a very special episode of Moving the Mountain, a creative leadership podcast. Today's very special guest, Tiahna Somero. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We've known each other for quite a while now, probably 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. You are a photographer here at Move Mountains Co. and the main lead photographer here.
That is correct.
And you've done about how many seasons now with us?
So 2017, I came on in Brandon Tyler's wedding. So what was that, mid-season?
2000. I think that might have been 2018.
2018 until now. So I don't know how many seasons that is. They've all come together in a blur.
An upler?
In a blur.
Oh, in a blur?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many weddings have you shot, you think?
Definitely over 300.
Over 300?
Between just Move Mountains. We could check production sheet.
Yeah, we could.
But estimate, probably 300.
Nice.
And then with everybody else mixed in, definitely over 500 weddings. I wouldn't, well, I don't know. I'm not certain. It's up there.
So many noises.
That's what we get for living here or working here.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really good.
Yeah?
I'm learning to find a balance between work and life.
Really? I don't like the sound of that.
I know you wouldn't, but it's something I have to do for me.
Now, what is the difference between life and work?
There wasn't much of one before.
Do you feel like you have more of a life now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you feel like was missing from your life that you have now that you didn't?
I can't even say community because I've had community my whole life, but I think it's just a rhythmic pattern of, I think I'm finding a balance between just shutting work off and focusing on family. And where I want to put all my energy into. And it's like for the last 6.5 years, I've put my energy completely into Move Mountains and slowly Move Mountains. And I've also like put away a few things that I wish sometimes I didn't do, but it's just a time being. But now it's like I'm ready at the age I'm in to.
How old are you?
I'll be 29 in January. You said that joke earlier. It doesn't count.
I couldn't fully do it because
just
I'd be hit with like age discrimination or something.
You do age discriminate. There's no doubt about that.
So,
I'm gonna be laughing the whole time.
Wow. So, what do you feel like those things that were missing from your life?
I isolated myself a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I think that's why you could feel the sadness.
Yeah, I did. When I was at your apartment, I took over your apartment, and for context here, when you moved out, yeah, it was definitely a little sad feeling. It was so sad, actually, I left. And I said, I'll just stay with the mice in my apartment. It was really sad.
I think I was solely focused on trying to get so much done. And what I've learned thus far is work will always be there. Work is always going to be there tomorrow. And it's not to just put your responsibilities behind you. It's just learning to balance in life. Because for me, I wasn't balanced then, and I'd stay super late, and not by the force of anybody else, but by the feeling that I had to do it. And I feel like now it's like, okay, once 5:30 hits or little past, like that's my time to shut down, do devotionals, or focus on other things that I don't focus on. So it was just very much the same routine here, where I would wake up, come to the office, leave the office, go home, and then shut down and like isolate in that way. I have so many people here that I can connect with, but I also am surrounded by them all the time too. So it was like finding that balance. So that's why I feel like where I'm at right now in life, the balance is better.
Well, I think doing weddings too, and we have a particularly strange company, and so it is a lot of work. And doing weddings, specifically weddings, I think some of them can be very exciting and give you energy, but I think a lot of them, especially when you're doing like the triple header weekends, and then you just go for 4 months, I think they demand a lot from you.
A ton.
From like the people around you demand a lot from you. They can be very draining. So I understand that it's like when you do kind of come home, it's hard to maintain a social life because it's just like I have to unplug and like recharge because I got to get out there next weekend. Yeah, it's all over.
Exactly. It's almost like when you do the volume that we do, when it's 3 to 15 weddings in a weekend throughout the entire wedding season, which is the 6-month period, it is so much energy just exerted out of you. Like it is, I don't think people can comprehend the level that we do things at. And with me doing 72 weddings in 2022?
2022, yeah.
That was a huge indicator of me that like I was, by the end of the wedding season, I felt like a shell of a person. I didn't feel like I had the ability to just be with my family, because obviously everybody in my family works weekdays. And when I came home during the week, it was more or less a lesser group of people. And now when I'm in the off season right now, even visiting home, I'm able to spend time with my family and really like invest in that, because family has always been the biggest thing for me. And so when I can go home and invest in that, and like I'm like, whoa, I can feel that. Or if I'm shutting the computer off at 5:30 or whatever it may be, I'm able to watch a movie with friends. Like that's something that I did very little of, and like I'm finding joy in that kind of stuff. Also, seeing the sun. Like this place is cool, it's dynamic, but being like, I was never one to just go out and go for a walk or go out and hang out with friends. It was always at night when I would go and hang out if we did. And so even just waking up and having coffee in the sun, like I'm like, oh my word, I can breathe. So I think it was a lot of self doing in that way of like feeling like I have to be here 9 to 9, or feeling like it's just so much to handle, or it's work Sunday through Monday and then take 2 days off or whatever. So it's very much like now that I'm away, I kind of can separate myself between the two, work and pleasure. So I think I don't even know where we were going, but
yeah, you were rambling there for
a really long time.
Wow. Yeah, that was a sizable amount of time.
Did you even?
Whoever's listening?
Did you even?
I was listening. I got it.
He's like,
yeah.
Anyways,
so yeah, I mean, I think the whole point of that is it can be very demanding, the wedding industry. And 72,
absolutely.
Like hearing that number, 72 weddings, and for context and perspective, that's also, doing engagement shoots, coming to the office, very unsustainable lifestyle. I think that we were living probably even more so, like, that was 2022 was definitely a peak, I think, for you, of like, wow, this is a lot. 2022 was probably the worst of it for me. 2021 was rough, I think, at some point, as well. But I think when we were a little bit younger, kind of going back to those early days, it was hard, but it was a different type of hard. I felt like it was
there's
a little more fun, maybe. There's more fun in there.
I think the more we've grown, the more serious things get, because the volume is so much higher. So we need more team members. We need more data protection. We need more equipment. We need more people. We need more of everything, because our numbers keep going up. We need to almost duplicate ourselves in that way. And so when we don't have the team to duplicate ourselves, it ends up feeling like a lot more serious. I think in a few years, like if we look back at this, it's probably going to be like, man, those times were easy. And so I think that's something that I want to start focusing on, is like being present and being in the now. I sound so like woo woo, but genuinely, it's like
a spiritualist or something.
Life is so fast though.
Yeah.
Genuinely. And when I've put so much, and I'm not complaining, but like when I put so much time and effort into other people's big day, which I literally am in the field that I'm in because I enjoy it. But when you put so much effort into so many other people's wedding day, it can be draining. And I don't know if people like touch on that as much.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, and I think people don't understand quite how much we do. And, you know, so it's like you want to show up, and I think we do a really good job of showing up for people. But the wedding industry just has such high expectations. It's the service industry. And I think the pressure and the amount of expectation that our clients put on their wedding day, I mean, they've probably been thinking about this day since they were little girls.
Yeah.
And so they're really kind of, that means the world to them. It's everything. So it's like you have to kind of match that energy.
Yeah.
But it's not just them. It's, you know, we got 200, 300 other couples that we work with. So the way we've been able to kind of scale that service is really, I think, impressive. Like, you know, it's like real win, I think, for the team. And I think there has been more pressure to like over the years because we didn't know what we didn't know.
Exactly.
And then our reputation started growing quite a bit. And then it's like, all right, there's a standard here. We got to keep improving the standard. And so, you know, it became more serious. I think when we started, we were just kind of kids and kind of goofing around and having a lot of fun. And
I do think that we've always taken it very serious though.
Yeah.
Like the amount of nights that we would spend 3 a.m. lying on the concrete floor of our 5x5 closet office is like, I get flashbacks of those moments, and those felt like the hardest moments at that time. But now looking back at it, it's like we're seeing it as fun and playful. And I'm like having flashbacks of like so many of the situations, and it's hard running a company. It's not easy, but I think when you have a team of people that come together and are collective and support the whole mission,
it's even harder.
Absolutely. No, it's a lot more to handle, but it's when many hands make light work.
I remember that memory you're talking about, specifically that one night where we were there. I was exhausted. I was like sleeping on the concrete floor. It was maybe like 3 a.m. We had to get up the next day to go shoot. And we were importing as we did in those early days that same night. Like, you know, we just did some things where it's just kind of reminds me of watched that interview with Jeff Bezos, and it was the early days of Amazon where Jeff Bezos was like packing the packages, and they're on his living room floor, and they're kind of like, man, you know, and he's like, you know what would make this easier? Like if we got knee pads. And the guy like, no, he's like, no, we need packing tables, you know? And I think we've had a lot of those light bulb kind of moments where it's like, no, this is unsustainable. Let's get more memory cards. Let's do this after the weekend. But we were so much like stuck on, and we still are, but like stuck on like growth where it's like, we wanted to import everything. We wanted to put up sneak peeks that night. We wanted to like get things shared.
Yeah, we didn't even have enough. We didn't even have enough SD cards though.
Yeah.
So we needed those SD cards. Simple fix, but with money that we had at that moment, it was, we needed those SD cards for the next day because those were the only SD cards we had.
Right.
And somebody on the outside,
yes,
very irresponsible. We have come a long, long way, but knowing or doing what we can with what we had and the knowledge we had, we then grew into what we are now. Like literally the smartest idea would to be, buy more SD cards so that we didn't have to clear them, didn't have to import them, didn't have to wait for things to be backed up. So it's like somebody on the outside could have easily told us that or knew that or if it experienced that. But now it's like, now we know what we do.
Now we know what we do.
But there's always more to learn.
Yeah. I mean, every year I think we implement some kind of process where it's like, oh, that's a game changer. It's been really nice. So do you have a, mics, what you have before you? Do you work out?
No, not at all.
No.
I work out my mentality.
You do sound like a spiritualist. The South has changed you, Tiahna. You're not the same.
No, I'm just teasing. I really don't work on. That's something I do need to work on.
Working out?
No, my mental health. No, I'm just
mental
kidding.
health.
I'm just kidding.
That's important.
No, just finding that balance is what I want to work on. That's what I.
Well, let's do a couple rapid fire
All
questions here. But
You
I
know
do want
me,
to. I
though.
want to get your favorite. I'd like to get your favorite memory, or one of them.
I mean, I would say one when the team was a part of the publication.
Oh, the Southern.
That was
Yeah.
a fun moment because it was like we collectively did that as a team. That was a really good memory. I honestly,
She doesn't remember.
there's so many. I mean, I just look back on my phone and all the like behind the scenes videos or just random clips. I'm trying to think of a good time.
Amazing.
I don't know. There's so many of them. I think my favorite memory is all the memories before and the ones that can continue to come. Anyways, what's your favorite memory?
Favorite memory at Move Mountains?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I do have a favorite memory.
Oh, you do now. Just as I was about to say mine. Okay, go ahead.
My favorite memory is honestly, I think when we first met. Because
Oh my God. This is disgusting.
Why is it disgusting?
The nosebleed?
No, that's not the first time we met. Oh no, no, it's not. The first time we actually met was at Brian and the first time we met was at Brian and Ryan's Rising Tides, Tuesdays
There's a
Togethers.
meetup, yeah.
That's when I met you because we all went to lunch after and got Mexican
food.
Yep. And then the second one was the sweet store. Was that with Carrie Cupcakes?
Yes.
I did not know that was her at that moment, but now I do. That's a story for another time. But the first time when we shot together, the funniest experience, my aunt was like, "Don't you dare go to this random guy's apartment and go into his room. Like, you stay in the parking lot." And she was all nervous. And I was just like, all right, let's go to Rhode Island. You had asked me about my work and the process that I take to get the photos that I had on my Instagram at the time. Mm-hmm. And then you reached out and I was like, this guy's so random because I didn't know who was following me. And I didn't realize Move Mountains was Sean Brown. I didn't understand that. And then you said, "Hey, would you like to do work with me?" And I was like, "Sure." And then you said, "Would you like to shoot the 2017 or 2018 wedding season?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And we did that engagement session. I came here, hopped in your little rinky-dink Prius, and we went to downtown Providence and shot the engagement session. And I remember pulling this move of like laying on my stomach, which I just cringe at. But I specifically remember is my legs were like out and you were like walking over them and you tripped. And I just remember your face being like, "You're really good at this." In that moment, it was like some sort of like, "Wow, you're really good." I think that was the only last bit of affirmation you ever gave me.
First and last. Yeah, right there when you tripped me. No, I remember that couple. And I remember that shoot.
We kept on saying, "You're fierce."
Oh yeah, they were
They're
fierce couple.
so fierce.
They're so fierce. It's like, it's kind of weird having two shooters at an engagement session, let alone like one of the shooters like on their belly.
I cringe every time.
I don't really remember that much.
But it was the angle. I was fresh out of college and I needed that shot.
Yeah.
And
which we would advise any photographer nowadays, like don't get in any awkward position.
Just use your bendy screen.
Yeah.
If you have a swivel screen,
or it's like looking at a photo from like a unnatural perspective is kind of weird.
Well, in photography, if you break the rules properly, you can break them. If you know the rules and you break them on purpose with intention and it's done right, then you can do whatever you want. That is the best piece of advice I got in college. or some sort of way of doing
Yeah, I
them.
didn't really know the rules. I was
And
figuring it out.
that's how some people do it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot of guidelines with move mountain shooting.
Yeah, a lot. Too many.
Too many.
Don't do anything.
Incorrectly.
Just center the subject.
You're almost doing nothing.
Yeah.
To get the shot.
Don't do anything extra.
Got to keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
You have to keep it simple. Otherwise, in this company, if we had everybody doing everything, we wouldn't have a consistency to our work. And obviously, every photographer has their own eye, their own perspective at a wedding day. But I think what we do in our training process is really guiding them to perfect imagery. And we're not perfect by any means, but it's what works for us. And what has been, I don't know, a huge factor in keeping our quality up is our expectations of what the photos should look like on a basic level. If you want to have fun and go crazy, do that. But make sure you have your solid, fully covered wedding day.
Yeah, and I think that's a mistake most people make when they're starting out is like, you don't know what you don't know. It takes a long time to actually just refine, like having a good understanding of like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to get. This is when I need to get it. And it's more of a process of elimination. It's like, what am I not shooting?
Exactly.
And you figure out what you actually need to shoot. But that does take, you know, depending, if you have no mentor, no guides, it does take a little bit to kind of get. And I would give a bit of advice for anyone like who's starting out with photography or videography is like link up with someone who knows what they're doing, you know, and that you admire their work and train with them, learn with them. If you have to pay for a mentorship, pay for a mentorship. If they'll let you second shoot with them or just even assist. I've offered to pay thousands of dollars with people that I admire their work. I'm like, hey, can I pay you? And they're like, no, we don't want you to know what I know. Like they like kind of gatekeep. And the industry is not really like that, but some people are.
Yeah, I think the industry has come a long way over the years, but I do feel like
it's a nasty industry.
It really can be.
It really can be. Yeah.
It can be.
The whole industry is not great. I don't love it. I love people.
That's it. We're done. Signed, sealed, delivered.
I love
We're
people.
retiring.
I do love beautiful images, and I love beautiful images. I love the naturalness that, you know, you can really capture the essence of somebody. And growing up, getting my photo taken, it's like once in a while, you know, you get a photo taken yourself and you're like, that's me. Like that's kind of how I feel, like you kind of captured something there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's hard to do, you know, to capture a photo of someone where they're like, wow, I like that photo. I mean, most people don't like photos of themselves.
Exactly. And I think that's why I do what I do. And
most people don't like photos of themselves because when someone puts a camera in your face, like you kind of stiffen up, you know, and like you're off. You know,
it's awkward.
It's awkward, yeah.
It is so weird.
And that's not how you want to be captured. You want to be captured as like your authentic self.
Yeah.
Relaxed or, you know.
And honestly, I feel like there's so many people in the industry that have a spark to their photography. And like you can be a photographer, you can get trained, everything, but you can tell when there's a photographer that has that spark in their pictures. It just feels like something.
Right.
And I feel like that's when that person is living like their most truest like form of art, like living through their most truest form of art is just like being able to capture people with that spark or being able to capture anything and having that spark to their photography. I think it's just like, it's so cool to see that when people can like fully invest in that and fully just dive in and be able to experience it.
It's energy, you know, it's like you kind of capture that. It's like, you know, good photography has an energy to it where it's like you just feel something, you know, and yeah, if you do it right, you know, it's a nice medium.
Next question.
No, let's stay here for a second.
Okay.
Let's just sit in awkward silence.
So on this episode of
Tiahna loves AMR or ASMR. AMR, our editor.
AMR is awesome.
She loves AMR. We all love AMR, but ASMR ASMR is like, for me, is like a religious experience when I hear it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like enter like another like.
I wish we
like
were wearing the
catonic
headphones.
state. What's the biggest tip you've ever gotten at a wedding?
Biggest money tip or advice tip?
Are people giving you advice at weddings? Are people giving you life advice at weddings?
I've learned a lot of things at weddings.
Yeah.
You are never enough.
Okay. All right. You're never enough. Go on.
You could, this sounds like slander. Not every wedding is like this, but sometimes you're never enough and sometimes you will never be enough. But with that being said, is knowing who you are, where you stand, how much you value yourself. You'll learn that when people treat you like that, that stuff doesn't really matter. But you can look at it and learn from it. Because there's days where I've bent over backwards and it's been very hard. But I count it all as a blessing and an experience because I've learned to deal with a multitude and plethora of people. But my favorite part is serving the people at the weddings. So it's like, I love bending over backwards and being able to serve somebody on the biggest day of their life. I feel that that's like honestly an honor that they would even choose me. When people request me, I think it's a huge, I don't know if I want to say that.
Honor?
No, it is a big honor when people like reach out specifically for you to shoot their wedding. And I also think it's just an honor to be able to serve somebody on a big day. Because like if you really look at it, like it is somebody's biggest day of their life. That's how they view it.
Yeah.
And to us, it's work. But
that's interesting. Yeah.
In order for me, like to get through the day, it's like I want to serve those people wholeheartedly to the best of my ability, no matter the situation, no matter how I'm treated by guests or treated by the couples or anything like that. Like I want to lay myself down. That's honestly like the way I would like to live life, is just laying myself down and honoring people and being a light in any situation.
And this is why she's great. And I think to kind of speak a little bit on work, like people have this negative connotation of work, right? And, you know, when we look at scripture, you know, both in the Bible and the Torah, so God created work, you know what I mean? Like that light, and he worked for 6 days and then he rested for one, you know, so work is a large part of life.
It really is.
You know? And so I don't think it's a bad thing to give yourself to work.
But there is a balance.
The context of work in our lives is, you know, you have work before you have a partner, really. Not that work should become before your partner, but it's a big component of life is work. Work,
I mean, it's how we survive.
Work, yeah. But I guess I just say that because you mentioned like with the couples, it's like it's their biggest day of your life, but like for you, it's work. Or for the photographer, it's work. The videographer, it's work. And yeah, it is.
But it's also something
it feels like work.
Yeah.
A wedding.
A wedding day doesn't, it's not like, I'd rather be shooting.
I feel like you're part of, like a photographer, I always feel like part of the wedding.
Yeah.
Kind of feel like a low-key celebrity.
Yeah, if you're doing it.
And other people just like hate you. And you're like the help.
Mm-hmm.
You're the scum, lower than low.
Mm-hmm. All depends on the people.
All depends on the day, yeah.
But my mission at every wedding is to put my best foot forward and serve others completely and wholeheartedly, because I feel like I've been given a gift in the industry of photography, no matter where I'm at. And if I am provided with the work, I put my best foot forward in it and be thankful for it. Because honestly, like being in the industry, it can be very, very hard. And I've talked to a lot of people who are like, oh, off season is really hard, very hard. But I've been blessed completely. So
off season is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very seasonal industry, very seasonal business. You have to really plan accordingly if you're, if you're a solopreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You got to really be intentional with your spending habits and budgeting. You know, but there's probably a little bit less of that, you know, because you probably don't have so many expenses as a solopreneur.
Yeah.
You know, versus a company.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Life, work, God, and the Torah.
that's right. Any other aspiring words you have for, or is it aspiring or inspiring? Inspiring words for up and coming photographers.
Continue to seek any opportunity, but you gotta look for it as well. And always to never put yourself in a box.
And
break the rules, but break them right.
Let's talk a little bit about the client experience. Or do you want to talk about something else?
Oh,
what's your favorite candy? Nerd clusters in the freezer.
Those are the best.
They're so good. I'm like hooked on those lately.
In the freezer?
Just any temperature.
Nerd clusters at any temperature. But the freezer is the best.
I haven't tried them frozen.
I just left mine in my car.
But
that was satisfying. Also, what is my favorite candy? I used to be a huge like sugar sweet gummy person. Used to be. But I think I've had my time with that. But what I'm really big on right now is like cheddar popcorn and caramel popcorn mixed together.
That's disgusting.
No, it is literally the best thing ever.
Cheddar popcorn, maybe. Caramel popcorn isn't even good solo.
Caramel popcorn is literally the best solo.
It's not good at all.
It's so good.
And now you're mixing them together?
Yes.
I do like movie theater popcorn a lot.
That's good. I actually enjoy stale popcorn.
Yeah. Popcorn is fire.
Like 5-day-old popcorn.
Just crunching on kernels.
You are weird. But 5-day-old popcorn that's like stale.
Perfect.
I know somebody that dips.
I used to work at the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah.
What didn't you do?
I had a lot of jobs.
I don't believe that you're like actually human.
Why?
Because I think you might be an alien.
You know, there's that new premiere. It's like a little teaser for the new Curb Your Enthusiasm. And the alien ship comes down in front of Larry David. And then the alien comes out. And then Larry David like pulls off his skin. And he's an alien. And he's like, all right, my work here is done. And he gets on the ship.
It's probably going to happen.
Maybe there are. Like, made me think like maybe there are like people that are aliens like among us.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
And maybe they're just here for a purpose.
The Nephilim?
Oh yeah, there was a Nephilim. Although I don't know if those are aliens.
What's the definition of an alien?
Very true. Maybe, yeah, we're kind of aliens, you know?
We might be aliens.
Like I could pull my head off and be an alien. You ever think that like you're the only person that really exists and then like everybody else
that's only
is just...
you. That's only you. Surprise.
Are you sure?
I'm just kidding. What do you mean? Continue.
So like you're the only person, but like everybody's in on it, like a Truman Show kind of thing.
I think that's serving like, oh, I can't even believe I just said that. Disgusting.
What?
Serving. That's serving.
Oh yeah. So what is it serving?
That's serving main character energy.
Yeah, when I was a child, I used to get like kind of a little paranoid. I remember like this one specific memory, like I was getting out of my mom's Astro van, like walking into elementary school, and like I was like, if this happens or that happens, then like this is true, you know. And I would like play like mind games with myself like that. But I was like very kind of, I don't know, like self-aware. But I like thought like, am I like, what are people in my lives? Are they like actually people? Is everybody in on this? It's kind of paranoid for like a 10-year-old.
What happened to you?
Let's not get into it.
The one thing I've never known.
Yeah, we never really did talk too much about personal stuff, but why would we?
We're too busy.
Let's ignore the real problems.
I think that's what I was going through.
When?
Isn't just being here in the apartment and being here working. It's like ignoring personal things.
I don't know. I sometimes find work though as like a great it's like, well, if you got nothing else to do, you might as well work, right? So it's a lot of people don't have anything to do.
If you have nothing to
people
do.
overinvest though too in like their friendships and things like that. And then it's like, well, maybe you put a little too much time into your friendships.
That's why we come back to balance. Because I think you need both. I think you need life and I think you need work. But you also need work to live life.
Yeah, you need work. You have to work. I think work kind of gives you purpose. It gives you like, it makes life not about you. Where it's like you're serving other people. You're putting their needs first. You're doing something. You feel like you're contributing to society. I feel like that's all really good. It's like the adage of, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? You'd probably still do something. It's like why people really never retire, because you got to stay busy. You know? You gotta have a purpose.
I think it gives you a sense of purpose. Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, working here, it's like, how else are you gonna spend your time? But there were some real pain points, I think, where work can strangle you when you don't have the opportunity to step away, when it is time to step away, like my niece's birthday and things like that, where it's like, I can't go to this because I'd like to, but I'm bound by like some type of emergency. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately too. Like, what is an emergency? Everything is urgent. People make everything seem urgent. Everyone's in a rush. And it's like, really, how many emergencies are there really?
It depends on
what is actually urgent.
Nothing really. I mean, obviously, if something.
And I think you should kind of live life a little unhurried.
Yeah. Coming from you?
I know. I've grown.
He's grown so much.
In just a short amount of time, too. Tell him.
Tell him.
Tell him.
Give him the lowdown. Yeah, probably like what, 3 months?
Yeah,
4 months.
I had a major like life kind of shift.
You do this every year. So I think every time you have gone through a pivotal moment in your life, you either resort to a couple different reactions to the situation in life. You shut down.
I have a bad habit of shutting down when things get too overwhelming. I just don't know what to do. And I think I get that from my dad, because I remember like whenever the market's doing really bad, I would like go over to my dad's house and it'd be middle of the afternoon and he'd be like in bed. Just his mind is like, he's overwhelmed. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, you definitely have that.
I try not to, but
you've gotten better. But then you get kind of angsty. This has to get done. This has to get done. This has to get done. This has to get done now. But then it's weird because then nothing else really gets finished.
I feel like me being great is pretty rare.
Yeah.
I have my moments, but it's pretty rare. Me being okay is like
average,
day to day.
But you're a 4. You like melancholy.
Yeah, I do.
But I think where you thrive the most is in business, but just maybe not the human connection.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I mean, I like people.
You like people. You're good with people. But I think where you strive the absolute most is in methodical thinking of processes, information, data.
And productivity.
Exactly.
My mind is usually like 10, 20 steps ahead. So it's like, I just want to get all this stuff done so we can do this other thing. And so it's like, I'm like delayed by like lack of execution. So I get very frustrated. And then, cause like we're 20 miles behind, Yeah.
But work is always going to be there.
Work is always going to be there. But then I feel like life is, it's finite. And so it's like you have all the things that you want to accomplish. And you feel like you got to get them all done.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably relate to this because you're 29. But it's like you feel like, oh, I have X amount of time to do X, Y, Z. And you kind of, I don't know, maybe me personally, like I measure my like success in life by like, do I have all the things that I wanted to have, or have I accomplished all the things I wanted to do? And to a degree, it's like I want those things to be great. And then you also it's like you want to be youthful still, like when you are able. But I think I have this bad habit of like kind of being so tunnel vision that I'm so focused on the end goal that I like forget about life in the moment. I think that's why I kind of feel like the last 10 years have gone by like, oh dang, like I probably should have invested in other buckets to a degree.
Insanely fast.
I think I did a good job of like investing into like friends and my church, like my community, but probably failed in like family life and then like relationships.
You really have
my choices with relationships, which we'd have to get into that. But I've been like, I don't know, maybe not the best
at what.
And I had a lot. I'm like a kind of like a development or kind of. I think I had a lot to learn.
A lot to learn in what?
With like relationships.
Okay, yeah. And I think I've seen and known you for long enough to see that there has been some growth.
Yeah, some.
Anyways, favorite candy?
Yeah, what's your favorite candy?
I have a really hard time answering these questions.
I'll tell you what your favorite candy is.
Fan favorite?
I seen you eat Skittles. A lot of Skittles.
Really?
Just random, yeah. I like Jelly Bellies.
You also like sweet tarts, which you can't have because of the dye in it.
And I can't just have one sweet tart.
No, you have to have a whole bag.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've kind of veered away from sweets. I still enjoy it. Nerd clusters are on the top right now.
Yeah, the
frozen
nerd rope.
The frozen nerd clusters, those are phenomenal.
Banging.
But other than that, it's not too much. I used to be obsessed with like gummy worms. Those were my favorite. Like sour gummy worms.
Yeah, they're okay. Not bad. Gummy worms are good. Coming to Rhode Island, what's your favorite thing about Rhode Island?
I think that there's so much to offer. I mean, there is a lot here, like the city, and then you can be near the water. I really enjoyed Newport. I think it's really pretty there. I remember in college, I went there with a peer to do a shoot for somebody down there, and it was like a weird moment in time where it was like, I'm gonna be back in this place. It was like, this was the first time I even heard of Rhode Island, honestly, because being up north, I really didn't focus too much on Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Let alone Newport and Block Island. I had no clue Block Island really existed until we started shooting there.
Yeah, I didn't go to Block Island, I think, till I was 20, probably 22.
Yeah.
But
it's a cool place. It's just, I'm not a city gal. That's one thing I just don't like about it. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
The people that I know here is probably one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, who's your favorite person? Yeah.
Definitely not you. I'm just kidding. I don't have favorites.
Really? I have favorites.
I don't have favorites. I think every person that I've grown to know or learn or discover here has been an opportunity for a new friendship. And I think it's been so cool to meet so many people that are like-minded without being from my town. That's been my favorite part, is just getting to know all the people you've known and just the connections through it all. How many people I've met through the industry of Move Mountains and the photography industry. Insane. But then there's all these little tiny connections too. That's really funny. Like, yeah.
Do you think that we should just maybe Give up, move mountains.
Why?
I don't know.
What do you want to do with it?
I don't know. Like what like would you ever just be like, hey, like guys, why don't we just stop doing this?
Something big would have to happen in order for me to do that. But for me, like I am getting to a point in my life where I'm like, okay, what's going to be next?
Right.
Where am I going to put my energy?
Yeah, me too.
I think we're in the same position of where we want to go, like next in life.
Yeah. But I think once you cross that bridge too, then like it's probably like, oh, you get married and have kids and you're like, hey, you know what? This still would maybe like to work, or you still need that like
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Why
But
do you
maybe
want to
you
give
don't.
up Move Mountains? Would you
Do I
sell
really
Move
Would I
Mountains?
sell Move Mountains?
What would you do for
I don't
work?
think I would sell Move Mountains. I would like see if there was anyone internally that just wanted to run it, you know? Which essentially is what we're doing now. It's like, you know, we're giving like a lot of autonomy to everybody.
Yeah.
And so whereas before it was like a lot of my decisions. So it was like I was the one succeeding or failing, you know, and the team was like almost like a byproduct of that success or failure based on like my decisions and direction. And now it's like I want to give more autonomy in like the decision making and making calls and things like that, where it's like, all right, well, that decision could go either way. And if it's success, then that's great. Hopefully you guys have more of those successes. And if it's not, then it's just like you start to understand like, oh, wow, like these decisions have real consequences.
Yeah.
And real results. So it's like it goes from just being like a person playing a game, you know, to this affects everybody's lives around me. You know, they're depending on me to make good decisions. And so I think that's going to be a nice phase for you guys to enter, where it's like, man, it's like you guys really got to work together as a team, and you got to really understand that, you know, I'm not always going to be there to save you guys or take the fall or, you know, step in, you know, because I'm not going to last forever.
Wow.
I mean,
what did I say at the beginning of the podcast?
What'd you say?
Someone's not gonna last. That's creepy.
Damn. She like predicted my death. You've been more concerned with me dying?
Yeah. Like I always feel like you just...
Are you guys getting all this? Go ahead and say it.
No, you get so stressed out and like emo.
I don't get stressed. I'm not stressed. Am I stressed right now?
Not now. But in your big pivotal moments in life, I'm like, he's done. He's over it.
I feel like I don't.
But you're 4 and you like to sit.
I don't really get. Well, I still get stressed, but like I don't let it affect me the way I used to.
Definitely not.
I kind of feel like if it's gonna burn, then it's gonna burn. Because I've kind of been on that bridge so many times where it's like, oh, it's burning, and then it's like, oh, we make it through. So it's like, if I hadn't have put all that emotional energy into reacting the way I did, how much better, you know, you just become more like resilient to trauma.
Yeah.
The important thing is that we got through it and we did it.
And that's what we're going to say when Move Mountains is on its next journey.
Yeah, it's like, do you just keep going with it, or do we...
Let us know down below.
Yeah, like keep going with it. Do we keep trying to build it up? Do you just plateau? Do we bring it back down? Soft landing? Do we crash and burn? And those are really the options. Greater altitude? Or...
You've really been thinking about this.
I mean, you have
What
to.
would you do after that, though? Because all you've known is work.
I mean, I think there are easier ways to make money.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if we do it.
We definitely do. There's way easier ways to make money. Like what we're doing.
Why do we do it?
Why do we do it? Like we could probably transition. We should transition some of the brand into like a luxury brand. Like you, like the top line leaders should only be shooting luxury weddings, scaling up to like 10, then 15, then 20, then like 50,000 per wedding with photo and video. That should be like one of our biggest priorities. I think we could keep scaling Move Mountains. I think working on a digital product, I think it's be much more lucrative if it sells.
Do you think eventually there will be somebody new that comes in and completely runs with it?
Move Mountains? I think it'd be really hard to get like a new hire to just kind of come and run with it. I think the closest that we've seen to someone being able to run this company, it's probably Jan, I would say. Josh probably could have done it, but I think it's not his priority. I don't think it's something that he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's more like, I want to go to work. I want to do a good job and spend time with my family, have kids. I think you do a really good job assisting and running the company, but it's a high price. You pay a high price to have that responsibility.
That's the thing. I am way better in a position,
Supporting role?
in a supporting role.
Yeah.
What I would like to see is our systems get just absolutely buttered and just be the smoothest system of gears. Like, I want to see it just flow.
Yeah.
With a healthy life balance.
Which we've worked on systems, but never like we've worked on systems over the past 12 months.
No,
and
absolutely
I think it's only
not.
been 12 months that we've been actually like working on systems. The way
It's
we
insane.
have is insane.
I wish there could be like behind the scenes footage of what we actually do every single day.
I know.
Because technically we're a company that works Monday through Monday. Like,
it'd be cool if like Josh just like filmed us during the week, like working on stuff. What are you working on? And then like we sent that to an editor. And every week they put out an episode of like what's happening at Move Mountains.
Yeah, pretty much. That'd be cool. But I think it's like the stressors of like what people don't see behind the scenes of like, oh, when we have an issue with something, it's like it affects not only us but our clients, and then it's just this big thing. It's like where we constantly are learning how to combat those things. It's not easy. Running your own business is not easy, and that's why I've enjoyed doing it with Move Mountains.
And I like the behind this. I like the story of it because it is. There's there's people involved, and there's challenges and hardships and triumphs and things like that.
Trials and errors and successes and wins.
Tiahna, you have been a lovely guest. One of the best guests.
Through your teeth.
No, you have. It's always great talking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
One of our high-level leaders here at Move Mountains Co. has contributed to a lot of success over the years. And she is now moving into a new stratosphere. Probably only be shooting the very luxury weddings. Still overseeing all the Move Mountains products and brands and things like that. But thank you for tuning in to this episode. Tiahna, any parting words? No? Okay. All right. And we will see you on the next episode.
Stay tuned.